Oh my God. Hello everybody and welcome to Good Night Sri Lanka. It is another Friday night and here we are back on the show for another fabulous
evening.
That is the one.
Another one. All of us are actually not able to speak proper English today. Hamad is having his own little moments. We are trying to decipher whatever in God's name he's saying. And now we are, filling the blanks today for the three of us.
Sign language also.
Something that actually popped into my head when you said is when you're finding it very difficult to speak English today. Have you ever had this situation in school while you're right smack in the middle of writing an essay where you actually forget spelling the most simplest word?
Yeah.
Like, how do you spell but?
Double T, the T there.
A but
Sometimes you can think, no?
But-
TT. And then
But namut but. Namut but.
Namut.
Namut
Namut.
Namut.
Mama, Namut but. Yes.
No, but it's
Namut.
happened quite a bit. I mean, sometimes you just completely blank
When I'm
out.
stressed, I can't spell necessity. I can't spell necessity when I'm
I can't
stressed.
spell necessity when I'm not stressed.
කොහොමත් බෑ.
E-C-C-S. No, there's about two S's there. No, there's one S. I can't spell necessity when I'm stressed.
Ladies, ne?
Now, of course, I really can't.
That gives me a great idea. I think our next
Spelling bee. Spelling
දාන්නනම් එපා කෙලින්ම දැම්ම ස්පෙල් චෙක.
Our next game night
It's spelling bee.
is spelling bee.
Oh my
Spelling
God.
bee, right?
And very simple one. Open, close.
Banana.
Banana.
Mango.
Potato.
Anyway,
Yeah.
back on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thank you so much for all the love that you've actually been showing on those mini clips that have been going up on GNSL on Pornhub. Follow us on our Instagram page. Follow us on our YouTube channel. And also, of course, our Facebook page. TikTok is also up and running. It's all GNSL on Pornhub. Thank you so much. As we kickstart the show on another Friday night. It's actually a short week with a long weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Long weekend. And believe it or not, it's just Wednesday, Thursday. And voila, we're back in another weekend right now. In Sri Lanka, you can actually trip and fall and you'll fall into a long weekend.
Yeah.
April and May was really not months to work.
Nothing.
I think we're properly working only in June.
Maybe.
Maybe
Yeah.
no? Is there a holiday in June? I don't know.
I'm sure there's
Must be
person
having-
falling somewhere, but we don't know if it's actually on a weekday or not.
Yes,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
person in June, right?
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. So you went to see Vesak?
Vesak, not to see.
Then?
Our traffic, my goodness.
God.
No, but I'm saying you
I
can walk
was,
around.
I wasn't bothered.
But I don't know. This year it wasn't as
bad.
packed
Yeah.
as it was the last few years.
Because
Yeah.
because the Vesak zone was in Nuwara,
Yeah, but it was also Chris. Last year, or the year before, it was in Kandy.
Was in Kandy.
It was in Kandy. It was in Kandy.
But the
But
Gangaram stretch is not happening.
No, it's happening.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
happening. But there have been times where you've been stuck. I mean,
Yeah.
I will never
Yeah,
forget
yeah,
that
that-
loaf of bread.
Yeah,
Right?
that
That-
2-hour bread.
2.5 hour loaf of bread.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I basically had to eat the bread to survive in the car, right? Because it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. The Nelum Kuluna had some light kind of Vesak thing,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what that's called. That was a nice name for it though.
But the thing
I don't remember what it
is,
was
as always, it's a beautiful time of the year. Colombo's all decked up, the lanterns are up, the lights are up. It's very nice. It's beautiful. But it wasn't as packed as it was for the last couple of years or so.
Yeah.
Saturday was really packed. Sunday, suddenly it vanished. The crowd was just half.
Yeah.
It was just half.
So wait, the holiday.
I'm sorry. Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
So Monday I went to work. So early morning Monday I went to work. So I went really early to work on that day. A mom, the sweetest moment, right? So a mom, quite a young mom, and her 2 kids. So must be about 10 and maybe 8, the 2 boys. So the mom has made a big pot of, I believe would have been some saw or some kanda, right? And at around 6:30 in the morning, the 2 boys are energetic. They are gung ho. They're waving the flag, stopping people. The mother is like, why? I am here. So I'm thinking the conversation with Ani Amme, please make a pot even of saw and let's go and give it as dansal. So the younger fellow is holding a tray, the elder one is with the flag, waving, almost pounced on my three-wheeler. Ani auntie, gun no keka. I said, "Ne pute," and I went. But the mother is like, take it. I'm trying to finish this pot because see, there was nobody on the road, not even a doggy on the road. And these three. Mother is pouring, waving the flag, he's trying to pour three. So I think it was like such a cute moment, right?
Really cute moment.
Nobody's on the road. They started way too early. And the mother. But I don't think the small two realized that there's nobody's going to be on the road. Mother is like, anybody want to come and drink this? Anybody, please, somebody. And they're like, and that energy, was like, so
but
sweet.
Monday, I was at work till 5 o'clock, right? Until about 6:30, and then I had to go to hospital, to general hospital. I was thinking whether I should go, will I get caught to the traffic? But then again, I made it there by 5:30. I came out at 6:30. There was until about 7, I think. I think 7 was the time where I just, flooded.
But to get back home on that Monday.
Yeah.
That was crazy because especially Thalavatagoda junk, there was 4 dansals together on either side. So I think the hospital there was giving 1. Then there's like a small food outlet, they were giving 1, and across the road there was a bath and an ice cream. That entire road was packed. We just couldn't move. So all of us are like,
amazing.
Can I have the
dinner?
I'm trying to get home. I am trying to get home. So yeah.
So on Monday the 13th, right?
13th Monday, yes.
13th Monday.
Yes.
So I got home, my daughter had gone for dinner, 14th was her birthday. So I waited till the last moment to get a cake and everything. I thought my favorite place would be open.
Right.
So I went there.
Monday was the 12th.
Monday was the 12th. No, so this was on the 13th.
Right.
13th, right? Tuesday.
Your favorite place is Kingsbury?
No. I should have done it from there. It would have been easier, right? I completely
forgot
because I wanted to. I mean, it's not many, no?
Yeah, right? Small one.
So then went to KLSE or whatever you call it. Closed. Classes, whatever.
Closed.
So they are closed. Then right? That's 6. Now we're about 7 o'clock. So I went down to see there are little cake bakeries down Marine Drive. No, nothing, absolutely nothing. Then I remembered Pang. That is also that somewhere. If you order, so I call them.
Why did you buy a loaf of bread for birthday?
Now I'm so desperate. No, I need to find something.
A muffin.
Butter cake.
Famous butter cake.
Famous
butter cake.
So then I call them. Got the number. I call them. Sir, butter cake.
Ayo, you're telling me. I hope you didn't take a butter cake and go off for her birthday.
ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ මේ ළඟපාත ඉන්නේ අනේ ඔයා තව තැනක් දන්නවා නම් පොඩ්ඩක් මට කියන්න මේ ගිහිල්ලා ගන්න පුළුවන් තැන. ඇයිස මේ බම්බලපිටිය ෆ්ලැට්ස් වල තියෙනවනේ මේ ෆැබ් එක. There's a web there, right?
Yes.
Then I got the number there, and like I was on the other side of I was on the Marine Drive, the other side.
Right.
So
that was open.
So, end.
They're working.
They're working, right? So when they got a cake also, now candles, right? Then there are two or three candles around. No?
Yeah.
So sometimes when you go and look for candles in supermarkets, dekati tunane.
Right.
Tuna තියෙනවා දෙක වෙන පාටකින්. Right? All these problems. So I called them and said මේ පොඩි හදිස්සියකට
දෙකයි තුනයි එක පාටද?
Right? She said මාතේ මොකද කිව්වේ?
ඔයාගේ දෙකයි තුනයි එක පාටද?
මට දෙකයි තුනයි ඕනේ එක She would have thought I'm a pretty pervert. So she says, so now their office is on the top floor. So he puts the phone down, disappears, somebody else and comes. Okay. Hello? Oh, Mata, මොකක්ද ඕනේ? නෑ මම මේ දෙකයි තුනයි පොඩ්ඩක්.
You just dragged them. Right. That's what you did.
And then I can hear the other girl coming, right? sir, දෙකයි තුනයි නෝද වෙන කිව්වා. තියනවා sir, තියනවා එන්න. Right? So I went there, got that. එනකොට when I went to the counter, now these girls know me, my ගේ ඉස්සරහා තියෙන එකනේ. එනකොට there one girl is passing a huge bag of something to the other girl. Right? මම මොනවාද මේ ජිල්බෝලද? අනේ නෑ සර් අපිට මේ දන්සලකින් කස්ටමර් කෙනෙක් කණ්ඩ අරන් ආවා. සර්ටත් එකක් ඕනේ.
අයියෝ, that's very sweet.
සර්ටත් එකක් ඕනේ. And she I said no ඔයගලන්ගේ ළමයි ඉන්නවනේ ගොඩක් නෑ සර් අපිට ඩිනර් තියෙනවා. අපි ඩිනර් ඔක්කොම රැස්ටි කරලා තියෙන සර් එකක් ගන්න කියලා and give this bag එකක් පිරෙන්න right. So there were five or six packets in that. So somebody would have come and given. ගිහලා මේ අනේ ඉතින් මට එකක් දීලා
ස්වීට් අර
යා සෝ එතනින්ම මම ටොෆි පැකට් එකක් කරා ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේක ගන්න.
හරිනේ ඒක.
ඔව් හරිනේ.
මාට කරමු.
ඔව් හරි
පාට කරනවා.
මට කඩල ටිකයි ඔයාලට ටොපි ටිකයි.
මම ඔයා පේර රසට දාස්ස සියම ලසට.
දෙකද තුනද?
මාර ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා මාර කස්ටමර්.
So එන ගමන් ඊට පස්සේ then there was this some educational institute something right I don't know what the name of it ඒ පාර අස්සේ පොඩ්ඩ යන්න ඕනේ ice cream dansala ඔව් එතනින් දැන් කේක් එකයි ඔය ඉටිපන්දන් උත් අරගෙන එතනට ගිහලා ice cream දෙකකුත් කකා ගෙදර ගියා
හරි කමන්නේ ඔක්කොම එක ළඟනේ
එක ළඟනේ yeah that was my adventure
we'll actually talk about some of the different dansals that's actually come up this year.
Yeah.
I saw some fun ones.
There's some really fun ones and there are a couple of
very innovative
and interesting ones and we were actually having a conversation that maybe hopefully by maybe next year I think GNSL should actually put up a dansal.
Yeah. මොනවද දෙන්නේ?
ඕගලන් එයිද? අපේ දන්සලින් කන්න.
මොකක්ද දෙන්නේ? අපි obviously we can't do it this year.
No, obviously.
We can't. But lots of people obviously have there are more dancers that come out during Poson than during Vesak.
I saw a lot this time though for Vesak.
Okay. අපි දන්සලක් කරනවා මොකක්ද දෙන්නේ? කඩලද?
Mayokka.
Popcorn. Popcorn dancer.
Popcorn yeah.
Everybody agree.
Popcorn dancer.
Podi gotuwak මෙහෙම පොඩි.
Yeah. And popcorn dancer different flavors also.
Different flavors. එතකොට පොර කනවනේ flavors. I want cheese flavor.
But that
දෙන්නේ කාලේ යන්න. Come on.
It's a dansal.
I actually my daughter is crazy over it. They get these flavored packets.
Yeah.
Right? And they just put it in the pops.
That's right.
Right? In the microwave.
Pops yeah. No. She puts no. Not in the microwave. In the stainless steel.
That's how popcorns work.
Yeah. So that the same microwave දාන්න පුළුවන්. But microwave you need that real gadget that bloats up with
So popcorn dancing is GNSL is doing.
GNSL next year. Popcorn dancer.
Alia. All right. We have to be here. Another 1 year to do this.
Yeah,
let's do this.
We will be going from house to house to get collection.
from all our followers.
From all our followers.
See that
doesn't mean you all stop following us.
No,
keep following.
No. So by hopefully by next year, we'll at least be about
5,000.
Yeah, 10,000.
10,000 yeah. 100 ගත්තොත් නේද?
ඔව්.
100 ගත්ත ගණන් නැති.
හරි. popcorn the very then.
ඊට පස්සේ මේක රෙකෝඩ් කරලා තියාගන්න.
ඊට පස්සේ ඉන්නත් රෙවෙනියු එක ඉදන්න අපේ පස්සේ. කොහොමද ගත්ත 100 පෙන්නම රිසිප්ට්.
popcorn පෙන්නන්න ටික.
කො රිසිප්ට් පෙන්නන්න popcorn රිසිප්ට් එක. ඔව් දන්සල්ට ගියක් ආවද?
Kernels, popcorn kernels.
That anything is okay as long as it's not watlappan.
Expensive. Then only one scoop you get. මෙහෙම හැන්දයි. They'll tell මේකවත් තියාගන්න.
Anyway, so yeah, lots of stuff that we need to talk about and it's been a short week. It's time for us to get into Lanka last week, ladies and gentlemen, to find out what happened as far as Sri Lanka is concerned last week. All right, we are back right here on GNSL. It's Lanka last week. Having a bit of
every time
pest control situation.
Every time the camera is focused on us, we are laughing. Our viewers must be thinking, are they high? What are they on? Because forever, half of the time we are like,
that is so. We actually
small problem. Venuki did not kill it. Kill it කියන්නේ කරපොත්තෙක්. We just lifted our legs and woohoo. Vote for the best.
Pass by. Make way. President වත් නැහැ එහෙම ස්කෝට් එක.
All right.
All right, time for us to get to the first story on Lanka last week. What do we have? Vesak motorcycle gang, 16 arrested for causing public disturbance.
Ayyo, I faced this, huh?
Really?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
යන පාර මැද තුනක් මෙහෙම යනවා. Right? And I horned and I overtook one. One fellow is coming on the other side, again blocking me. Road rage to the max.
Yeah.
Right? Come on.
What are they doing? They're just riding around.
No,
for
so
it?
yeah, obviously they're riding around because
Yeah.
most of these guys are not from Colombo.
Yeah.
You know, so they ride down from different parts of Sri Lanka
Yeah.
So
to
must
be
be
a
the same
part
joint.
of the.
Yeah.
be a
So
part
I
of the
said,
Vesak
come on,
festivities.
Singiti Atal gatta den kawanne.
Only Vesak no.
Let me not lose my cool.
Yeah.
ඔගලා යන්න පුතා සුබ ගමන් කියලා මම එහෙම හිමීට ආවා.
I mean, but it's obviously it's a case that it has been a bit of an issue in
Yeah.
terms of certain of these motorcycle gangs, causing disturbance,
Yeah.
screaming, shouting, riding recklessly and things like that. But glad that the cops have actually taken initiative in starting arresting because usually
They
what
don't.
happens is during Vesak,
Yeah.
right? During Vesak is the time that the cops actually turn a blind eye.
All
You know,
fun, no?
Yeah, because you can
Yeah.
drive anywhere you want, and just by some chance that you have a vehicle with a sunroof,
Yeah.
right? It's actually illegal
Yeah.
to be standing out on and putting basically a head out and body
Oh,
out
really?
of
I
the
didn't know
sunroof.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
No.
I didn't know that.
You can't
I thought the
drive
sunroof
like
is
that.
there for that.
The sunroof is there for the ventilation, right?
Not to put the head out.
Not
But,
in case you get a bad odor.
Like that.
but during Vesak, anything goes.
Yeah.
Anything
But
goes.
I saw I mean, these are things that they should never turn their blind eye because there was one tractor, right, which had erected a swing.
Really?
Onchillava.
That's crazy.
Right? And but the entire, the trailer is packed with people and there are people standing and this fellow is swinging.
That is crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
And there was
crazy.
another one, and there was another one I saw on a JCB. You know what a JCB is, no?
No.
Caterpillar
okay.
ඒකේ bucket එකේ.
Meheva.
ඒකේ bucket එකේ ඉන්න හොල්මන් තුනක්.
But that must be fun, no?
But it's dangerous.
No, true, but I'm just.
But imagine something, නිකන් හරි that fellow put the lever down and that thing goes up.
Yeah, you have to be.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
that's-
saying. I mean,
that's-
it's
it's like-
it's reckless.
It's like මොකක්ද අර Final Destination
Oh,
වගේ.
but some of the demo butters are packed so much. I'm thinking one day that the demo butter will listen that the driver will be up
Yeah,
because I don't think it can carry that much of weight.
No, but
Yeah.
but it's usually what happens is the entire living room from a
Yeah.
house
Is
actually
in that?
actually a demo button.
Yeah, this sofa is there.
The sofa is there.
But then again, right, this is what you might to understand is these are people from the villages.
Yes.
But that's
right?
also fun.
That's fun.
Fun,
ඒක
fun.
ගිහිල්ලාම බලන්න ඕනේ.
No,
ඒකේ
so I
ආතල්
have,
එක.
when we were small,
Right?
I have gone in my
Yeah,
teenage
yeah,
years
yeah.
in back of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
All of us got together and went.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable. කිසිම sofa එකක්
නෑ,
නැහැ.
නෑ,
පුළුවන්
ඔව්.
විතර යන්න කිව්වා.
ඔව්.
So we also got in and went. But that's obviously it's all
It's
the
all
fun.
part of
Fun.
it. Yeah, right.
But it'll
And
be a
then,
little
you know,
safe as well.
they pack it to the brim. What
Yeah.
to do? දාලා
Oh,
යන්න.
oh, they can දාලා යන්න?
yeah. So my daughter is telling, Tati, see, little children also.
So what to- yeah.
So they were saying, how are they going to stay at home alone? No, they can live with the grandparents. The
Grandparents are in there. They are only looking after the children.
after the children.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the story. The motorcycle gangs that have actually been arrested during the Vesak the last couple of days also. Next story on the show, what do we have? Salt shortage in the market.
Ayyo,
Prices soar.
seriously.
This is a big story, okay guys? Because there is no salt. There is no salt in the market at the moment.
What I can't understand, Sheikh, there is Hampantota, there is Puttanama.
No,
right?
but this is the reason, okay?
There is sea all around this island.
Yeah. Thing is this.
What is the problem now?
The problem is because of the weather, right?
They can't dry.
No, they can't dry because all the saltons, right? Obviously, they need to dry it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But when you have torrential rain and that's going on, it just gets washed away.
Yeah, that's true.
No.
It gets, that's the reason. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, we've been experiencing some pretty bad weather, right? And especially in the areas where obviously the saltons are sort of there, like you said, Hambantota,
Yeah.
Puttalam, and all
Yeah.
these areas. Unfortunate, the situation is the fact that it basically it's the weather. It sort of washes them away. Now, today or was it yesterday? The cabinet has actually given approval to import salt till the 11th of June.
For a month.
Right, for a month, right? So now, so this is serious, right? Salt is essential
Yes.
in cooking
Yeah.
for anything.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely essential.
true, that's
And
Not much. You don't really have a substitute.
you don't
At
but
all.
thankfully though, I mean, a kilo of salt for a household can
Can
actually
last.
last
for some time.
for
yeah.
about month or month
Yeah,
and a half,
yeah.
because you're not putting a tablespoon of salt, no, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but still, at the end
But
of
for
the
big
day,
families,
big families,
Hotels,
hotels,
yeah,
restaurants,
RC kilo
yeah, yeah.
400 bucks. Imagine
and
that.
obviously,
100 bigger.
it's crazy. So yeah, if by any chance that you do manage to come across any salt out there, buy it. Buy it and keep it in the safe. That's the best place it can be. Right?
it's that expensive now.
It is that expensive. It will come to the levels of gold, the prices,
Yeah.
at one point.
And
Of
this
time.
is the reason why Karol is also expensive.
Yeah, that's
All
right.
same story?
Yeah, same story.
All right, next story. What do we have? Data Dansal. Public
Ah.
warned of fake links on social media.
this?
So,
Oh my goodness.
So obviously, Data Dansal was on. I think Dialogue had a Data Dansal.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes, they did. Yes, they
Uh-huh.
did. Hutch had a Data Dansal, right?
What was the
And
Mobitel? Hutch.
Hutch had a Data
okay.
Dansal. I mean, these are the two that I actually
Yeah,
saw.
okay.
So you have to go there and get it
No,
over.
so they're on the side of the road,
Ah.
right on the side of the road. I think I'm not too sure. Dialogue was actually had a QR code or something like that, and I'm not too sure how Hutch was working on, but obviously free data, which is
Sweet deal.
sweet deal,
Yeah,
absolutely sweet deal.
In
What a
this
nice
day and
thing.
age,
Yeah,
super Dansal to have.
but but unfortunately, as usual, us Sri Lankans will find a way to mess that up also.
Yeah.
This is like that. What was that?
So why was the public asked to
That
be?
was a weather forecast. Remember? Similar, right?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
some fake news. no?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
No, because the links. Because obviously, you had a link, log on to a link
Okay,
for you
okay.
to activate your data,
Okay.
and there are fake links out
Okay,
there.
okay.
Unfortunately, when you click on a fake link, that could be something that will be tampered with. People can
Right,
get into
right.
your phones.
Right.
So
Understood.
yeah, please be very careful. If you are planning on getting yourself going into data Dansal, the best way for you to do is go into a supermarket and buy yourself your own data.
Own data.
Better,
Right?
no? Better.
That's the best way to go
better,
ahead
yeah,
before you basically, you're giving your phone as a Dansal to somebody
Yes.
else. Because they'll take over that.
Yeah,
all right?
so don't.
What are the other Dansals that actually, hang on a minute. Let's go. I'm sorry, Hamad. Let's go to the next one.
Sorry, Ahmad.
That's what it is. Perfume Dansal in Nugget.
Yeah.
Brought in hundreds of people
Wow.
eager to grab a sample.
I know.
I don't think hundreds. There were thousands. There were
Thousands of people.
They
Perfume,
gave
those
this
little testers.
those little decant perfumes.
Just looking things, right? Yeah.
So I think on the first day or something like that, they gave away about 3,000.
Okay.
3,000 bottles, and it basically was.
We obviously didn't know what it smells like or whatever, but
Come on, Nail.
Yeah, come on,
Something nice, no?
At the end,
As long as it's something better than your body odor.
yes.
on that note,
Yes.
Yeah. And,
Unless, yes.
they obviously ran out of those 3,000 bottles, and what I heard
Immediately, I'm sure.
and the next day or the day after or whatever, they actually started giving about 5,000 bottles.
Oh.
But it's
So unique.
so look, this is the first year that we're actually encountering Dansals like this, right? So you had a data Dansal, which is brilliant by the mobile networks, right?
Then you had the perfume.
The perfume Dansal.
There was one more.
I should get the boys to do a konde kapana dance.
Ikman and trim.
Yeah,
Trim. Ivaraya, Natang, just imagine. Or say 10 bob and twirl and eva
But some very unique Dansals that actually have come out. What else could have come up? What do you think? I mean, there's one more Dansal that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
I think the RMV is actually putting up a Dansal, which we'll talk about that. What other unique Dansals? I mean, yes, we've heard of the bat Dansal, the noodles Dansal, ice cream.
There was a hot
Dansal.
dog dancehall I saw.
Hot dog Dansal is
Yeah,
been there.
okay,
No,
okay.
Unique.
Okay.
Kama beema neme, unique.
Unique one. Manna digarama දැක්කේ කෑම බීමම තමයි. කෑම බීමම තමයි.
Kadala Dansal tibba.
Mayokka, the sauce, the candles,
ice cream tibba.
ඒක ඔක්කොම
But
තිබ්බා.
nobody out there, make sure, none of you out there, please do not start a popcorn Dansal.
That is on us.
That is us.
That we have
Yes.
dibs. We call dibs.
Yeah, we are going to copyright that.
Copyright that.
We're going to copyright that.
Yeah, and one flavor only, and 2-3 flavors.
Yeah, don't push it.
Oh, yeah, please. One flavor.
Yeah.
Normal.
And no salt. Bring your own salt. We have no salt. But yeah, let's talk about that later on. What else do we actually have on the show? 2-day vehicle tuning Dansal for Vesak. There you have it. This is what we're talking about, right? It's another very unique Dansal out there.
Explain to me what vehicle tuning is.
So, vehicle.
I mean,
That's a very expensive thing, huh?
It's expensive.
Very
thing.
expensive
You need
thing.
to see when over a period of time.
okay.
Your engine basically is being used on a daily basis.
Take for example, you.
Right.
Why am I being tuned?
Yes.
I'm tuned every day. Don't worry about that.
මෙකැනිකලි ටියුන් කරලා ගන්න ඕන
මම පොඩ්ඩක් grease ටිකක් දාලා
පොඩ්ඩක් වයර් ෂෝට් වෙලා එහෙම වෙනවා ස්පාර්ක් වෙන්න ගන්නවා දන්නවද
Let's shift back to the cars now. Right? So your engine, obviously, your RPMs go up and down, right? And if your RPMs go up and down, sometimes your fuel usage also increases. So you need to tune your engine on a regular basis to make sure that your RPM is at a certain level. Right, it's good for the vehicle. The engine obviously lasts longer, and also is good for as far as fuel consumption.
So that must have been a bit of a long task, right?
Not really. I mean, now
10-15 minutes?
Yeah, because
so not
they've got
bad for
gadgets
car,
and all
10-15
that stuff.
minutes.
They have gadgets and all that stuff. It is
Quite a few
basically-
people would have come for that dance.
It's
for
starting
sure.
tomorrow, or today, or tomorrow, or something like that. In 2 days, I don't know when it is.
There will be a polymer for that.
Oh,
Car
yeah.
polymer.
I mean, we love polymer. We're Sri Lankans.
I mean, we have.
imagine giving a petrol dansal
My
My
goodness.
God. Hey, man.
එනදී අපි තුන්දෙනා කියලා හිටගමුනේ. I'm just saying.
ඩීට්‍රේ ගාන දුන්නා imagine the number of 3 wheels bikes will there
Yeah.
my goodness
Hari, what else do we have on the show? Next one. Singapore sees rise in COVID-19 cases.
oh dear
You know, to tell you the truth, nobody gives a shit.
They just said COVID-19 and they moved on.
They moved on.
Yeah.
Nobody-
They said, okay, the hospitals are full.
so why
I
is
read
that
article.
even a news
Yeah, no, because
So
the thing is,
I am sure we have COVID even in Sri Lanka and nobody cares anymore.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Now, what I also heard is, the streak of individuals who are falling sick right now
Yeah.
because of this flu is possibly
It's
supposed.
not the flu,
It's not
it
the
is.
flu. It's another strain.
It's a C word.
There you go. It's another strain.
Yeah.
So, and we just don't know what it is, but
Because some people actually lose their sense of smell. Actually lose their sense of taste,
Yeah.
which is anyway what we used to have when we get fever. ඉස්සර කන්න බෑ බොන්න බෑනේ.
That's right.
Same story,
Yeah.
but people actually do that.
So now they feel that it's another strain, right?
And it relapses faster
Exactly.
is what I
Yeah.
heard.
So, but the thing is, we've just come to a point that to hell with it. We're just going to fight it through. We can't be sitting in a corner. and you can't be doing
Can't do a
all that
lockdown all over again.
I don't know. No.
I don't think this world can take another hit of that.
No,
Or
no,
a country like ours.
No, forget the world.
Forget,
can't.
we can't. We most certainly can't.
covid-19 නෙමෙයි 21 ආවත්පා
Eh, bane.
Next one on the show. Chickenpox vaccines out of stock amid rise in cases. That's
Chickenpox.
Yeah,
Isn't
that's
it
have you got chickenpox
hot days? No, I got the vaccine.
Oh,
I
you
got
got the
measles and mumps.
so obviously you get the vaccine when you're kids.
No, you got when you're big.
back in the day තිබ්බේ නෑනේ අපි පොඩි කාලේ
I got it when I was older,
In
like
school?
25, 26. Because my friend next to me
Right,
got chickenpox.
right.
Then my manager chased me. Go, get the vaccine and come.
Right.
Next day I woke up with measles. She's like, what in God's name was that? I'm like, no, but I have measles. She's like, the girl next to you had chickenpox and get the proper sickness. I'm like, I'm sorry. So I had already got vaccinated for
Sorry,
chicken.
wrong number.
And so the two of us are like, so how are you doing? I'm okay. But it was,
ඒ measles is the කම්බුල් නොතිබෙන එක
no, Kamulma is mums.
that's mums
That is bad. You can't vomit, you can't eat, you can't cry.
I've had mums.
I've had mums.
I remember when we got mums, a home remedy was needle.
That's right.
Yeah, needle and
But
dahi.
that is
That
smart,
smells-
right?
No, it doesn't smart. It smells so
smells-
bad.
No,
Like,
it's
oh
smart
my
sauce. It's
God.
very dry.
Nah,
Yeah.
Like,
And then I
like you're
remember-
like a smurf.
Yeah, and then I remember Nana used to close all the mirrors because apparently you shouldn't look at a mirror. You go, and he gets molu. I'm like, nobody wants to look at yourself when you're looking like that. But I remember you can't vomit, you can't cry, you can't. It's just miserable.
That's one of the smells I would like to experience
Neil,
again.
yeah, what is it?
Neil, Robin Neil.
Right,
Just to see how it smelled.
And
Because
then- and
it
lime.
was so Nil and lime.
And
Yeah,
they use some sort of color also, no? Some sort of.
I think we had to.
leaf.
I think we had to sleep on
That is
guava
for
leaves.
chicken pox.
No, chicken pox.
Chicken pox වලට කොහොම කොහොඹ දානවා.
කොහොඹ, yeah.
කොහොඹ දාලා නිදා ගන්න ඕනේ.
But don't you get these sicknesses when it's hot? And now the rains have come in, so I think
We
it's
don't even
another-
know. One day it's raining, next day it's
Actually, we
Oh,
don't know.
yeah.
But today
Today-
it was really hot and it rained like
Rained,
crazy
yeah.
as well. So
You know,
I said,
I mean, days like this, the worst place to be is actually
At
someone-
home.
No, someone who sort of forecasts the weather in the Met department. You don't know what to do
like,
because
no, I told in the morning. Sorry about that.
chances.
And like usually, if there is thunder, there is for some time, no. Usually it will spark a little,
Yeah,
there'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
bolts of thunder.
Yeah, yeah.
Now this, have you seen the new trend? One or two, that's all.
Yeah.
Poof,
yeah,
poof.
Yeah.
Finish.
Yeah, but those are big poofs.
Big ones,
Yeah,
big
yeah,
ones,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like
Trip ගිහිල්ලා එහෙම තමයි
it's like
යන්නේ.
aliens ලා කොට බැස්සා වගේ
That's
scene
the
එකක්
worst, Christian, because after that 5-minute, 10-minute shower,
Yeah.
the heat
The
just
heat
rises
Rises
up again.
up.
It's
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Anyway, let's get into
Are
the
we
next
done?
one. What do we
Oh,
have?
no. Oh.
70% of deaths in Sri Lanka caused by high blood pressure, according to health officials.
Heard, yeah.
That is predominantly, I believe, due to the lifestyle that we lead.
Very stressful
the
lifestyle.
stress, the stress.
We don't know how to de-stress. That's the issue. It's any lifestyle is stressful.
Yeah.
But our de-stressing mechanisms are not great. I personally don't know how to de-stress.
අපි දාමුද association එක ශ්‍රී ලංකා de-stressers association.
De-stress.
දාලා අපි consultation දාමු අර අපි.
අපි දුන්න නාද?
ඔව්, අපි
හිතා වෙවි ඉන්න තියෙන්නේ. Come, laugh with that.
Adi de-stress.
ඇවිල්ලා අපිට හිනා වෙලා ගෙදර යන්න තියෙන්නේ.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but
that's
different.
great.
Yeah,
No.
හිනා වෙලා ගෙදර යන්න.
That's great. I
Oh.
mean, you can't be de-stressed then. That,
That,
what is
yeah.
that?
So
Come
technically
on.
the least stress should be the three of us then.
Imagine we are having like a tuition class of my people coming at 5 o'clock. ඉඳගන්න හිනා වෙන්න දැන්.
Best part is they will look at us and go, and we will like, oh my god. Yeah, we'll be having our own fun there.
No, but the truth is, laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah.
You know, because that
No, that is
really-
so, that is so.
That it really does sort of de-stress you at the end of the day.
But on a very serious note, you need to also know how to de-stress on your own. So, for example, if you have hobbies, please pursue them actively. Sometimes I personally take a little longer time to de-stress when I get home, because sometimes the day is quite long and
Chloe.
stressful. Huh?
Chloe.
Oh yeah, so I have my doggy. I have Chloe Balthasar waiting for me at the door.
Yeah.
But I kind of like to read.
Chloe
and kinda-
Balthasar's Macca's.
No.
No Macca, no
My
Macca.
burger dogs don't have Maccas. What rubbish? She may be from the road, but in the house is,
No.
you got to kind of de-stress in the sense of read a book, listen to music. Sometimes Shak, if you see my DMs, you see Shak saying, "Go to sleep, Andrein.
Yeah.
Stop listening to love songs."
Yeah, that's because she
Because I will post.
post them up at about 12:30 in the morning. 1 o'clock is when I said,
Go sleep.
Andy, what the hell is wrong with you? You have to get up at 6 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So, I get a shout from DMs
Yeah, yeah,
also.
of course, yeah,
but
yeah.
those are all things of de-stressing. But then
Mama,
don't
ekapalla
de-stress
hina
to a point till 12:02 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's
I
true.
mean,
just
it-
know
Sleep is very important.
Yeah.
Music helps you de-stress a lot. Your type of your favorite music
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
helps you de-stress. Please do not go home and turn the TV on and start watching news. Right?
Yeah, you might as well go back to work or somewhere.
Exactly. That is not a de-stress mechanism.
And soap episodes.
And soaps.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, like
yeah.
teledrama.
Teledrama.
No, soaps,
Make you more depressed.
Yeah,
You are not sure why they are crying. No?
Yeah,
because 70% of the time they're crying.
Yeah, so you are not sure why they are crying.
Exactly.
Yeah,
At the end, and the thing is this: you watch them today, they're crying. You watch them tomorrow, they're still crying.
Over the same thing.
Over the same thing.
So, පුදුම ඇන්ඩියාවක් නේ.
Yeah,
Just
so
saying.
I mean, I think the best mechanism in terms of de-stressing really is stuff that you do without any help of like technology.
Yeah, and that brings you joy.
Yes, yes,
Like
yes.
kind of thing. So,
Jumping on your phone is not going to de-stress you.
Yeah.
Going through Instagram is not going to de-stress you. Checking those stupid TikTok trends is not going to de-stress you.
If at all, you will want to get those claw-like nails suddenly.
Yeah.
මට ඒ වගේ දේවල්
And
තියෙනවා.
some of those
I
TikTok
need
trends you-
claw-like nails. I don't know why. I don't know why. When I look at TikTok, I want falcon nails. And then I realize how to put a button on after that. These are things I look at 12 o'clock in the night and then put a song at 12:30 in the night and get scolded by friends. This is usually how it goes.
Oh dear.
All right, what else do we actually have? CEB
Oh.
plans
Oh
up
my
to
God.
35% tariff
I have a
hike.
small question. අඩු කරේ නැද්ද?
අඩු කරානේ.
20% or something.
adu-
Something adu kara.
Yeah, adu kara.
Then වැඩි කරනවා.
Yeah, then වැඩි කරනවා because it's a
No rain.
requirement of the IMF.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, in order for us to get the next tranche, this
We will have
actually
to-
has to be, they have to sort of,
dear.
there are certain boxes that need to be ticked off.
Yeah.
මේ box එක පොඩ්ඩක් නැකිලා.
No,
Right? Light na may box එක. So
හොඳට
yeah, so I think in June, but there is basically, this is going up and down in terms of what the percentage is going to be and when it's actually going to be increased and all that stuff. So that's the situation as far as the CEB is concerned. All right.
Oh, I'm done with that.
We're done with that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was our week this week,
Yeah.
and lots of dancers that we need to basically talk about, that we will, and we're seriously planning on organizing a dansal hopefully next year, Vesak. But Poson is an option, guys. I mean, it's next month, by the way. You think we might be able to pull it off?
We will think about it.
Yeah, really.
Not impossible also.
Not impossible.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
impossible.
Small one. No need to put for me 10,000 we are not going to give to eat.
No, no, we
Small one.
small.
Small one.
අර සරුවත් තමයි දෙන්නා වගේ.
Sir, ane
Oh,
sweet
then,
ane. If I wanted to take
Why
a
do you
picture of
should have
the
taken
tree
a
and the
photo, no?
cute as ever. Mother is like, get, please, somebody drink this
We'll
out.
give we'll 10,000 popcorns. ඒ පොඩි පොඩි ඒවා 10,000 විතරක් දෙමු.
එක එක දෙන්න එක
එක එක.
එක. ආ මෙන්න
ගණන් කරන්න. You can count 10 අර cash දෙලා වගේ දායද. You got 12, give me 2.
Cash machine එකෙන්
Can do.
Anyway,
If any of our viewers like to, jump on board of our popcorn dancehall idea for this person, why not?
I think it will work.
I think, you know what?
I think
some of our viewers will jump on
I
board.
think it will work. Maybe
Yeah.
we should.
A small little
At least
thing.
to come and volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You give it.
Or donate.
Yeah.
Do it in
Or
conjunction here.
Yeah. We don't want money. We don't
Yeah.
want
No.
money.
We just want the popcorn.
We just want the popcorn.
Yeah.
ලොකු
Don't give the money.
ලොකු තාච්චි ටිකක් ගෑස් විකුකර එකක්.
Nah,
ගෑස් සිලින්ඩර් එකක්.
Make the popcorn and bring it.
Nah, him a bag.
එහෙම බෑ. එතන hot dog
එතන hot dog දාන්න. හොඳ හදන්න.
hot dog
නෑ,
හදන්න
මොකක්ද
දෙයක් නැහැ.
තියෙන්නේ?
බටර් ටිකක් දැම්ම පොප් පොප් ගාලා ගියා වගේ.
Yeah, can do.
Oh.
We have one more to think about it.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
Now.
Let's get into the guest on the show today, and here we go. All right, it's time for us to basically move on to the guest on our show today. It's a very special guest that we actually have, and we are we're really happy to have Alia Whitney Johnson on the show with us. She's actually the founder and CEO of Emerge Lanka Foundation. Alia, welcome to GNSL. How are you tonight?
Thank you so much. I am thrilled to be here. It is an absolute privilege to be with you all. Can't wait to dig in.
Thank you so much for being a part of the show. And of course, we are basically going to get into more details on the topic, of course, that we are going to be talking about today. It's a very sensitive topic. And it's something that's, it's obviously, in the last couple of days, it's actually hit Sri Lanka by a storm, so to say. And without sort of delving into too much of the actual details itself, what is the scale? I mean, we're talking about child sexual abuse in Sri Lanka. To start off with, Alia, what is the scale of child sexual abuse in Sri Lanka, and how widespread is it?
Yeah, well, first I should just say I'm glad that we're talking about this issue today. I know it's a tough issue to be talking about, and for those who are listening, I hope you will take care of yourself first and foremost. But I also will say that there's research to show that talking about this issue actually makes a very big difference. It helps us protect kids. It helps us hold perpetrators accountable. It helps us decrease stigma. So yes, thank you for having me, and let's dig in. Child sexual abuse in Sri Lanka is a staggering problem. It is huge. And you can ask my team. I'm a data person. I always want to know what the latest data shows. And unfortunately, because this problem, there's so much stigma around this problem, it's hard to get very accurate statistics. But if we look at the latest reports, we know that somewhere between 14 and 44% of children in Sri Lanka will experience sexual abuse. I want to let that sink in. 14 and 44%. That is a very high number. So if we put this in perspective, it's like if you had a classroom with 8 kids, between 1 and 4 of those kids would experience sexual abuse before they turn 18. This is a public health crisis. This is something we have to be changing today, not tomorrow. And unfortunately, it is hugely underreported. Very few cases come forward. It's actually less than 1% that get reported to the police. And this is largely because most of the perpetrators are known to the child. It's about 94.5% of perpetrators that are known to the child. So these are family members, their teachers, their community members, which makes coming forward even harder.
So Alia, how would you actually describe the current system in Sri Lanka when it actually comes to addressing child sexual abuse? Are survivors getting the support they actually need? How would you sort of describe it?
Yeah. So what I would say is, like, first, it takes a lot to come forward. We just talked about the level of disbelief, the level of isolation, the level of stigma. People are asking, what were you wearing? Why did you let this happen? Did you provoke them? And so very few people feel comfortable coming forward. We have a cultural problem. But then, if somebody does come forward, they face a set of systems that actually can further the harm, that can also cause trauma. So they have to tell their story again and again and again to police. They then go on to court. Our court system in Sri Lanka is incredibly backed up. So these cases take between 5-10 years, sometimes even more. And if the child has been abused in the home, say that's their father or their uncle, they will be removed from their home for their protection while they are testifying in court. And they will be placed in government care in a facility away from their family. And while this protects the child, it also means that they're away from all of their natural support systems. They're away from the things that healthy teenagers would be able to do. They're not able to learn how to take the bus or go to the grocery store or do all the things that we learn to do so that we know how to be an adult. And then when they turn 18, they're out on their own, and they're actually extra vulnerable to further abuse, to exploitation, to trafficking. And so they continue their court case for years. They're testifying in front of their abuser. They're testifying in front of their villages. Our system is not designed to work with kids. It's not friendly to kids. It is incredibly scary. And most of these cases are not conclusive. It's very hard to prove them in court. And children are really the ones who are suffering the consequences. So, it's a tough situation, but I'm glad we're talking about this today, because I think talking about it is the first step in us making sure we can educate our kids, that we hold our communities, our schools accountable, and that we also hold our officials accountable and really say, we want a justice system that's going to work for kids in the future.
Okay, so like you said, it's a taboo subject, especially in Sri Lanka, right? So what do you see as the main roadblocks as to why the society does not talk about it enough?
I think there's a couple things. One, there's a strong emphasis placed on preserving family honor in Sri Lanka. And so, what happens to me is going to impact, my cousin and my uncle and my grandmother. And so the notion of shame is really strong. And people are often afraid to report, not just because of the shame it might bring them, but the shame it might bring their family. So we have a responsibility as individuals to make space and let people know that they will be heard and they will be supported, and that we want to care for them first and foremost, right? If they're in our family, it's okay. Our job to show up for them. We're not concerned about what other people will think. So the family shame, I think, is a big problem. Another big problem is we don't have strong, comprehensive sex ed in our schools. We know that sexual education actually can help really reduce child sexual abuse. If you have education that is grounded in things like bodily autonomy, consent, understanding your rights, how you report abuse, how you get help. This makes a huge difference because kids are curious, they have questions. And if they turn to the internet as their first exposure to what intimacy and what sex means, we're allowing the internet to define it for our kids, right? And we can't control how violent it is, what they see, what level of coercion is in what they see, and all of that gets normalized, right? So we need to set up the systems and the education ourselves and really open spaces where kids can feel more comfortable talking about these issues.
Alia, the earlier segment you mentioned about how difficult it is, like the court cases taking too long. There's a lot of confrontation in front of the perpetrators, the villagers, the family. What methods do other countries use? How does the system here need to change compared to other developed countries who face this, who tackle this in a more diplomatic way?
Yeah. I love this question. So, every country is different. And I don't think that Sri Lanka should just take what's happening in another country and superimpose it in. But I will say some of the things that are working in other places are, one, making sure that different government systems are coordinating really well. So if a child is coming forward and they're giving testimony, let's not make them repeat their trauma over and over and over again. Let's have them speak to a trained child psychologist once and have it filmed in a way that the police can watch it, the judge can watch it, the lawyers can watch it, and we're not asking them to relive their darkest moments again and again and again. If we need them to give testimony, let's have it on video instead of doing it in front of their perpetrator. Let's set up our courtrooms to be child-friendly. We can use child-friendly colors. We can have toys accessible. We can make it feel like a safe space instead of like a public adult institution. We can also make it so that it's off the record, that adults are not allowed in, that it's not public, that people don't get to hear the details of children's lives, that it's actually kept private. And that allows kids, when they turn 18, to start over, right? To not be defined by their trauma and their past when they're looking for a job or they're looking for housing. So, we need to think about the spaces we're creating, the technology we're using, how we're educating attorneys, how we're educating judges and police officers. But it's doable. I mean, Sri Lanka is small. I think this is very doable. And one thing that I would say is also possible in Sri Lanka is we have, I talked about that 1% that's come forward. And that 1% has been so brave. And this is the group that we work with at Emerge, these kids who have chosen to come forward despite how hard this is. And they've chosen to go to court despite how hard this is. And they really know what has worked and what hasn't worked. And they want to change it for future kids. And so how do we take some of these global best practices and not just implement them directly, but also anchor them in what we're hearing from kids and from survivors to build something that's really rooted in our local context? I mean, we could be the first country in the world that's really built a system in partnership with kids and survivors, which would just be awesome.
Alia, you're the CEO and the founder of Emerge Lanka Private Limited, of course, in Sri Lanka at the moment. Emerge Lanka Foundation, right? Thank you so much for doing what you're doing right now. But why are you doing it in Sri Lanka? What's the backstory? What are you doing here?
Yes, I think, you're interviewing somebody who's all the way in the US. You can tell it's light over here. I'm still drinking my coffee. The backstory, actually, I came to Sri Lanka almost 2 decades ago. I came after the tsunami as a volunteer. And I was studying engineering, and honestly, at the time, I thought that facts and formulas could solve all the world's problems. And then I met this little girl. She was 11 years old, and she had a 6-month-old son from her father. And this little girl was brave enough to go to the police and turn her father in. And this started a 7-year court case that ultimately was inconclusive. Despite the fact that we had, DNA testing and all sorts of tools that we could be using, nothing ever happened to her father. And meeting this little girl really turned my world upside down and inspired me to start Emerge, which works with teenage survivors of sexual abuse on their journey to heal and become self-sufficient and to step back out into society in the lives that they want to lead. And it really helped me learn something that I didn't learn when I was studying to be an engineer, which is that, if we come together as a community, if we invest in trust and relationships and showing up for each other, healing is possible. That little girl went on to build a house and start a business and get married and employ her husband and lead a really happy, productive life. Like, abuse doesn't have to be the end. We can redefine these trajectories. And meeting her changed my life. I mean, I really have this work to thank. It's been a gift to me. I never practiced engineering. I fell in love with this work and have been devoted to working with survivors of abuse and trafficking ever since.
Alia, you may be aware that Sri Lanka, one of the main employment opportunities for young women, especially young mums, is working abroad, especially in the Middle East. And there are tons of women that seek for greener pastures where they leave their kids with the family, with the father or with a relation, and go for 2-3 years, sometimes even 5-6 years without even returning back to Sri Lanka. These cases have, these are the most vulnerable kids who would be treated in this way. What do you think as a country or as a government what steps should we take to mitigate this, or to find solutions for this, or to derive on a more planned, more organized way to look after these kids?
Yeah, I'm glad you're bringing that up, because so many of the kids that we've worked with, this has been the case. They've had mothers abroad, and the mother, a very common story is the mother is sending money back. They're saving for a house, and the father starts drinking, and the oldest daughter ends up being abused. I mean, I've seen this happen so many times, I can't even count. And I also have seen cases, I know we're talking about child sexual abuse today, but I think many of you know that many times these women who go abroad also experience abuse and sometimes can't get back very easily. So we're seeing abuse happen in two different ways, both of which are very challenging. The first thing is, I think we need to be building awareness about it. I mean, many of the women I know who've gone abroad had no idea about the risks. They didn't realize that they could get stuck in a difficult situation when they went abroad, that they could experience abuse, that it could be hard for them to come back. This is something we're always educating our kids about at Emerge. And they didn't realize the risks to their children at home. And so I think making sure they understand all of those risks. But I think at a bigger sense, because there's an economic pull, we need to be thinking about what are viable economic opportunities and really well-paying jobs for the families that are going abroad. Well, how do we keep them in our country so that pressure doesn't exist?
Alia, just before we basically round up the conversation today, one final question that I want to ask you. Of course, with Emerge, the foundation, doing so much work in Sri Lanka, what does healing look like for someone who's actually been through such a horrific, situation? I mean, is it a journey? What does it look like?
Yeah. So, yes, healing is a journey. It's not linear. And I should say that, abuse and trauma affect all of us differently. So I think sometimes we imagine that trauma just affects the mind. which it does, but it also can affect the body. So I see trauma impacting kids' minds in terms of post-traumatic stress disorder or anxiety or depression or trouble sleeping or having trouble concentrating and learning. If you can imagine when your flight or fight instinct is just constantly turned on, your nervous system is constantly turned on, it's hard to prioritize things. So imagine being trying to study for a test or write a paper, and there's a fire alarm just going off behind you constantly. It'd be really hard to focus. It'd be really hard to retain information. This is what kids are going through. So it really affects their mind, but it also affects their body. And this is something I think we don't talk enough about. I've seen kids who have major stomach problems, headaches. It affects their immune system. You can have bedwetting. And we really have to look at the mind and body together. And every child, every adult, anybody who's been through abuse is going to need different kinds of healing modalities to navigate this. It's not linear. But what does healing look like? Well, I believe healing happens in community, and it takes time, and there's often setbacks. But we know that the brain has this superpower called neuroplasticity. It can heal, it can grow, it can continue to develop. And if we do activities in places where we feel safe, with people we feel safe, we can heal. We can feel good again. We can feel normal again. We can feel powerful again. And we've seen it again and again. So I would just say, if there's people in your life who are suffering, particularly if they're kids, the most important thing you can do is make sure that they know that they are believed, that you see them, that you support them, and then get them access to the care that they need so that they can move forward in their life.
Well, Alia, on behalf of the show and everybody who's actually watching this interview, we just like to say thank you for being here, doing what you're doing. It's a thankless job, but it's a job that obviously something that you've actually taken to heart to help these kids. And we need more individuals like you who can actually, step out and start helping kids out there who are going through this horrific experience. And they're kids at the end of the day. I mean, they're children, they're innocent. They really don't know the right and the wrong and all that stuff. And it is very heartbreaking when you hear some tragic information or news that actually happens on a regular basis. I mean, like you said, it's actually reported in a very staggering manner, but it only becomes a big deal when the media gets a hold of it. And I'm sure there are so many cases out there the media doesn't get a hold of, and it just sort of gets swept under the rug. So thank you so much. That's all we can say. I mean, there's really nothing much else that we can basically tell you. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing, and we want to wish you all the very best and give you all the strength to continue what you're doing and help the kids in Sri Lanka.
Well, thank you for making space for this conversation. It really, it means a lot to me. And I'll end. It's not a thankless task, actually. I have a cup here with me today that was given to me by a young woman that I worked with. And she wrote, it says, "Love the people who saw you when you were invisible to everyone else." And I really loved these words because I think too often this issue is seen as invisible, and it just reminds me how powerful it is when we show up. And that's something that each of us can take away today, that you can be there when somebody discloses to you in their hardest moments, and you can believe them, and you can listen to them, and you can let them know that you're going to be there. And it makes a lifelong difference. Like, you can be a part of their healing journey.
Thank you so much, Alia. We want to wish you all the very best, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us on GNSL tonight. And we want to wish you all the best and all the strength to do whatever you're doing, and continue to do whatever you're doing.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everyone.
Have a good evening. Take care. So there you go. There's Alia on the show with us, talking about something pretty serious, something that's actually also sadly gripped the country in the last couple of days, and it's of course on headlines in almost every news media out there. That's our guest on the show for today. It's time for us to take a quick break. When we come back, we shall get straight into game night, ladies and gentlemen, on GNSL. We'll be back. All right, this is the most fun bit of the show.
This is where we kill each other.
Andy never winning game night.
No, I tied it. Amaru.
Tied.
Time for game night. Okay, here we go. The instructions once again. There will be 6 questions shown on the screen, each with 4 answer options.
A, B, C, D.
Each of you have 15 seconds to
correct
choose the correct answer. All
Yes.
right. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. The first question, ladies and gentlemen, is name the king who introduced Buddhism to Sri Lanka in the
B.
3rd century
B.
Yeah, and Andy said B. Yeah, Andy, well done, Andy.
I think I heard it at a Torana. Others I would have never guessed that at any cost.
ඒක දන්නේ නැද්ද අර අඹ ගහ මේ අඹ ගහ අර තව අඹ ගහක් තියේද ඒක දන්නේ
මම කතෝලිකා. මම කතෝලික.
තිස්සවෙන් deer hunting.
Yeah, you're sure you're telling these stories. You
Yeah,
better get
yeah.
it right, huh?
Right.
It's a Buddhist country.
Deer
Next
hunting
one.
තමයි. Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go, next question. In Harry Potter, what is Lord Voldemort's real name?
C.
I don't know.
B.
D.
B.
How that for a guess?
That is a weird name. I would have never guessed.
I just picked it because that was the longest name there. That's about it.
I said I don't know that name. So I picked. Okay, good one.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay, next
Sure.
one.
We really know these answers.
Which breed?
Ooh.
Pommy. It's a
D.
pommy.
D.
Pommy, I said it.
D.
It's a
I
B.
said D.
It's a pommy.
Yeah.
It's
මොකද්ද question එක?
What is the breed of the dog?
Pomeranian.
Pomeranian, no.
the pommy.
Hari.
The pommy.
I should have, for once I should have read the question.
I
Yeah.
don't like that
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
I like dogs. But
Tiny fellow. Wanna slap him?
put a pine gun.
2-1-0.
2-1-0.
You got
Christian.
Pomeranian.
What pharaoh does the 4 statues
A.
evidence of,
C.
No, that's the right one, Andy. Well done.
I think it.
Yeah.
But I actually knew.
Yeah, Ramses.
I actually knew on that
That's
one.
the only one you knew in that.
Hari, come on. In my life, I know one answer.
Ramses.
Ramses.
Second. And a very. Sure.
In the game.
And you should know this.
B.
You should know this. True.
Yeah,
C,
I just
C,
watched
C.
it last.
No.
Cersei's nickname for Sansa.
B.
Little dove. Come here, little dove.
He's right because he watched it. I said he has to watch it. He watched.
අයියෝ.
Then even the ball.
Tama Andy.
Ayyo, ivara.
Tama
Right.
6 and 7. Tama.
Ivara karana 6 second. Okay.
What is the name of the popular daytime soap
B.
that Joy Tribbiani stars in?
B.
B.
You're
Mum
right.
you, huh?
You're right.
Yeah.
But you still lose. For
Day
once,
of our
Andy, not me
lives.
losing.
Oh my God.
So you too, no?
Harry, you won.
Huh?
You only got one. What a Pomeranian හම්බුන්නේ නෑනේ.
හම්බුන්නේ
Oh.
මොකද කරන්නේ
නෑනේ.
What do we do? What do for once?
Do your best impression of any political figure. Amma.
හොඳ වෙලාවට මම දින්නේ නැත්තේ. මම මොනවද කියන්නේ?
Ena.
ඒක
How
අමාරු
then?
නේ.
මාරුවේනේ.
Ranjan?
හා?
Ranjan? Political figure?
Anybody, any political figure.
දැන් නැති එකක් කියන්නත් බෑ පුතා ඉන්නවනේ.
දැන් කමන්නේ. ඕන එක.
බෑ මෝ මාව උසන් ගියොත්
ගොයි උසන් හොයන්නේ. උසන් හොයන්නේද?
ඔයාව කවුද උස්සන්නේ? ඔයා උස්සන්නේ.
කවුදනේ ඔයා උසන් යන්නේ?
දැන් බලන්න මිත්‍රවරුනි.
Yes, please carry on.
I'm not going to look at him.
දැන් බලන්න මිත්‍රවරුනි. අපි ලුණු ජීවිතේටවත් රටින් ගියන්න බෑ කිව්වා. අපි ගද්දි ලුණු පැකට් එක 60යි. දැන් ලුණු පැකට් එක 400යි. ඉතින් කොහොමද අපි මේ ආර්ථික දියුණු කරන්නේ?
කල්පනා කරනවා.
That's a good one. ඔයාව ගෙනිච්චද? අයියෝ. අපේ දන්සලත් ඉවරයි ඔක්කොම.
මේක දාන්න එපා.
දාන්න ඕනේ.
ඔක්කොම දාන එකේ.
මේක දාන්න එපා.
පොඩ්ඩක් කල්පනා කරනවා.
අපේ අම්මා තාම අර පෝප් නිසා මට බයිනවා. පොඩ්ඩ ඉන්න. තාම මිසිස් බාල්තසා බයිනවා.
බයිනවානේ.
කන්න දුන්නෙත්
මයික්
නෑ.
බොක්ස්
ඔව් දවස් දෙකක්.
Alrighty then, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Just before we sign off, it's time for us to basically take a quick check as far as our Instagram followers are concerned on the show, and a healthy
We
rise.
have.
And we are at the moment at
Oh, wow.
2,591 followers.
Yay,
Thank
yay,
you
yay.
so much. Thank you so much. And we were just discussing this on the group just a couple of days ago, thinking that we celebrated 1,000 followers just about
About a month?
A month ago.
Month and a half?
Yeah,
I think
that's
it was in
right.
March or something that we actually celebrated, and we
March
gave away-
Madness.
Yeah, with
Yes.
the March Madness, and here we are in May, right? Just 2 months, and we basically surpassed
Top five.
1,500. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and for
We love you all. As much as you love us, we also love you all. So
I
it's
love
amazing.
you.
and
You love me.
He's singing a song now.
We are happy family with a great big hug.
and a kiss from me to you.
Ah, you are talking.
Oops!
Barakara Pama.
Don't you say, don't you. I love
This soul man came
Me
rolling
too.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah, great, great. And with that,
On that note, with Barney,
Yeah,
right?
with Barney,
We're out of
the
here.
purple dinosaur.
Purple dinosaur. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Please do follow our YouTube link. It's GNSL on PodHub. Please follow us on Facebook. That's the PodHub Facebook page. Please follow us on Instagram, GNSL on PodHub. And we're also on TikTok. It's GNSL on PodHub. Thank you so much for all the love that you actually share with us on a daily basis and all those crazy clips that actually go up. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. It is you guys who've actually grown the show to where it is right now. And it's not even been a year as far as the show is concerned.
not.
It's
It's
not
not.
been a year, but we certainly...
few more months.
Yep.
Actually, yeah.
We certainly have come far. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We shall catch up with you once again next Friday night, right here on PodHub, Facebook and YouTube. Till then, have yourself a wonderful weekend, and we shall catch up with you next week. Thank you very much. Good night.
That deserves a Barney clap.